doesn't matter what the reason
Yeah, you just say, can I get a BLT?
I've got 7 o'clock, so I'm starting the meeting. Now that I've done the call to order, the first item on the proposed agenda is an announcement from me, so I'm doing that first. I do not care about yelling in coarse language. With respect to coarse language, I'm hardly one to throw stones. I'm sure everybody knows that. Furthermore, we are libertarians and freedom of speech includes obscenity and yelling. I am not clutching my pearls here about decorum. However, we are guests here at McGlynn's. As the Sussex County affiliate, are guests at Grotto. We have had issues here last month and at Grotto's last week with individuals raising their voices and using coarse language in a way that has drawn the attention of restaurant staff. These establishments are private property and are graciously allowing us to host our meetings here. We will respect that and conduct ourselves appropriately. There's no need for raising our voices. Even if carefully punctuated profanity can help to accentuate a point, yelling it out is disrespectful to our hosts and can only be interpreted as either an inability to control your own emotions or an attempt to intimidate others with loudness. It is within my authority as chair to adjourn a meeting unilaterally for reasons of safety or in the event of a riot. While raising your voice might not quite count as a riot, I will stretch the meaning of that term and adjourn this and any future meetings immediately if anyone speaking is unable to conduct themselves as mature adults in order to protect our relationships with our hosts, as well as to ensure the safety of our members and guests. Names will be given up to the restaurant upon request for them to hold you accountable for your conduct as individuals. Now that I've made that clear, I'm also going to go ahead and announce that I do acknowledge the changes that have happened in the party over the last several weeks. So membership is what membership is, and that's how we're going to move forward here. Membership is defined in the state articles of association as being a registered member of the Libertarian Party of Delaware according to the Commissioner of Elections roles, being a member of the National Party, bylaw sustaining membership, as BSM would stands for at least 60 days. Furthermore, you have to have been approved by the state board. I understand that's what worries you, but that is what the bylaws, that is what the Articles of Association say, and that is what we will be following tonight. No, we're not arguing about this right now.
Were those bylaws passed legally?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And we are not arguing that. You do not have standing to appeal the ruling of the chair because you are not members either.
That is a privilege appeal.
All right, we're going to enjoy it.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm the Libertarian Party of Delaware. I'm the Libertarian Party.
If somebody would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. Is there any discussion, amendments?
Second and a third time.
All those in favor of adopting the agenda? Oh, wait a minute, Tim. No, I'm not. Told you that already.
Is the chair acknowledging, Mr. Chair, request for information?
Yes, go ahead.
Please, for everybody here, point out or have it show by a raise of hand, do you acknowledge as members of the Kent County Libertarian Party?
Mary Pat has been approved. Layla has been approved. Brandy has been approved. Erica has been approved. Julia has been approved. I have been approved. Tesla's been approved, but she doesn't meet the seasoning requirements.
I'm asking the body here.
Sorry, and Tim. Yes, Tim, sorry.
Aye. Mr. Chair,
This is not a valid motion that's happening right now. We've got a motion on the floor to adopt the agenda.
And we second it.
all right,
So all
Mr.
those in
Chair.
favor?
Is there a discussion or amendments to the agenda?
All those in favor?
All those in favor of adopting the agenda as it was proposed?
Mr. Chair, the Kent County Party of Delaware last meeting does not acknowledge by a majority vote.
And that motion was vetoed by the state board. Moving forward.
Majority of the body is here.
So, addressing the previous month's resolutions is the next item on the agenda. Erica, you asked to put that on the agenda.
Can I speak now?
Erica has the floor.
Vote no if you do not
I would
agree.
like to make a motion to rescind and expunge from the minutes
Go ahead, guys, vote.
the motions that were passed last month.
Is there a second for that?
A second.
All those in favor of the rescission motion?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That meets the 2/3 requirement. The motion is rescinded.
All right, so
Next is to read and approve the
I
minutes.
just want to let you guys know what
Tim, do you want to
this-
read the minutes, or can someone have a motion to waive
I'll
the
make a
reading?
motion, we adopt the minutes as
Illegal
written.
members of
There's
the
a
Libertarian
motion to
Party.
adopt the minutes, waiving the reading. Is there a second for that?
Actually, you know what?
Is there a second?
I would
Second.
There's a
suggest
second.
that we
All those in
talk to
favor?
the managers, we get our own section and we hold the actual.
All those in favor of adopting the minutes, waiving the reading?
The meeting's already been called to order. This is the meeting. Absolutely.
Motion carries.
The chair has been overruled by the body.
Treasurer's report.
The chair is
We have
Being
$1,940.51. There's been no change from last
And
month.
there's procedures.
Thank you.
Are being handled.
All right, there are no notifications. I actually added to the agenda. I'm sorry. That was not in there. So if somebody wants to make a motion, I added this to the one online, but I forgot to add it to the printout. Can somebody make a motion to suspend the rules so we can do the state board representative election?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, I make
You don't
a-
have standing to make a motion,
I
sir.
make a motion, we waive the rules to make the state board representative
Election,
nomination.
okay.
Excuse me.
Is there a second on that?
Make sure you recorded the legitimate actions.
Is there a second on the motion to suspend the rules?
Second.
There's a second. All those in favor of suspending the rules to do the state board representative election?
Tim, as secretary,
That's
you are
2/3.
required to record what happens in the meeting.
Tim
Absolutely.
can't record anything if you're all talking on top of each
Tim, I'll help
other.
you out with the minutes
It's
afterwards.
being recorded.
All right, so we're now on the state board representative election. I actually am resigning from the state board representative position that I hold, and I nominate Erica Nelson to take my place.
And you should
I'll make
also resign from.
I make a
chair of
second.
Kent County and the
I second the
election
nomination of
There's a
Erica
second
as state board.
on the nomination. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of electing Erica Nelson as the new state board representative for Kent County? Motion carries. Platform committee, we have 2 items I wrote up. Those were sent out by email. I don't know if everybody got them. First one's regarding gun rights. I'll read the one that I wrote. Somebody can make the motion once I'm done. The Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states that, I should strike the S there, states that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Beyond that, if the libertarian principle of self-ownership means anything, it must include the right to self-defense against aggression. The Kent County Libertarian Party of Delaware stands against restrictions on firearms ownership which hinder those rights. While often well-intentioned proponents of gun control measures believe that their policies will save lives, evidence suggests that gun control measures do not reduce gun-related violence or even reduce firearms ownership in the affected areas. Instead, gun control measures ensure that victims of criminal activity will be unarmed and unable to defend themselves. Gun control measures ensure that marginalized communities with already high rates of criminal activity will be even more susceptible to violent criminals who break gun control laws as readily as the laws they break to victimize those communities in the first place. Gun control measures ensure that people who are unable to comply with the regulations and requirements put in place to obstruct their rights are either kept defenseless or victimized by a new justification for criminal just intervention in their lives. The Kent County Libertarian Party of Delaware supports the rights of all people to own firearms for recreation or for self-defense. The Kent County Libertarian Party of Delaware supports the rights of all people to purchase firearms without being hindered by permit-to-purchase restrictions or restrictions on the types of firearms and accessories they may possess. The Kent County Libertarian Party of Delaware supports the rights of all people to build and modify their own firearms without being encumbered by government restrictions on those activities and especially on the sharing of information protected by the First Amendment as well. We support all legislation to repeal such restrictions and oppose all legislation to impose them. So the first thing, I definitely want to strike that S on Constitution because it should be one Constitution, not multiple. But that's the resolution. If somebody wants to make a
I
motion
make
to
a
adopt
motion,
it.
we adopt the resolution as written.
There's a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second? There's a second. Any discussion other than removing that S, which is part of the original motion? All those in favor? That's passed.
Second.
Next item is cannabis legalization.
The chair and secretary hear that point of order?
No point of order is being recognized from this table because there are no approved members at this table. The Kent County Libertarian Party upholds that cannabis legalization is a pressing matter in Delaware that must be enacted as soon as possible. Under libertarian principles of self-ownership, a person has the right to use or not use whatever substances they choose for recreational or medicinal reasons. A person has the right to grow whatever crops they choose on their own property. A person has the right to enter into mutually consensual transactions in whatever form they choose. Cannabis must be legalized. The war on cannabis has been an unmitigated failure from its inception. On the thin pretext of protecting people from themselves, government has persecuted racial minorities, political dissidents, and even sick people seeking out the most effective treatments for their conditions, and has only succeeded in demolishing our respect for our constitutionally guaranteed civil rights, our relationships that should be with law enforcement personnel, and an economically vibrant and environmentally sustainable industry. Cannabis is more widely available and more widely used and more widely accepted than it was when this war began. It must be ended. State governments around the country are slowly backing down from the war on cannabis, but they are often doing so in a way that creates protected and restricted industries, heavily taxed and regulated, and limited to politically connected and favored individuals. This is better than continuing the failed war, but the ultimate goal must be a freed market that allows for home grow and the unrestricted transfer and sale of cannabis between adults. That's the motion, again adding the word with, wherever I said to add it. Relationships with law enforcement personnel. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Is there a second? There is a second. Any discussion or amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries. Now we need a motion to renew the platform committee, otherwise it expires in accordance with the Kent County bylaws. Is there a motion to renew the platform committee so it can continue working?
I'll make a motion we renew the platform committee.
Motion to renew the platform committee. Is there a second? Any discussion or amendments? All those in favor? Motion carries. At this point, orders of the day are to adjourn. Congratulations, we managed to get through it. It's 7:11. We actually did that pretty quick. It's great when we can just ignore people who aren't actual members.
Never voted to adjourn.
Orders of the day.
Thank you.
Adjourning was orders of the day.
Tim, as soon as the waiter comes around, I'll order another picture,
Tim?
if you want.